this last month, going through an NBA draft for an organization, a front office, and a team takes a lot of people to make it all function and work. We've had numerous workouts, numerous players come through here over the last probably 4 to 5 weeks, and it takes an army of people to make that happen. So from Ryan Carr and our scouting staff, Sonia, Susie, and our support staff, all the people that make things function, I want to start off by thanking all them. People think that the draft is just a GM, drafting people in draft night. It takes a lot of people to make it function, so I want to start off by thanking everybody for that. Going into last night, I think, as we looked at our team, we've obviously got a great young core of players, and we wanted to continue to add to that young core. A couple of goals that we had were adding some more talent and character. We wanted to improve our team defensively, I think was a big priority for us moving forward. I think Coach Carlisle probably addressed that a little bit as well. Always looking for shooting and some versatility, and I think these two young men next to me provide a lot of those things that we were looking for going in. So we were thrilled. These are two guys we had targeted a long, long time ago. And to walk away with both of them last night felt like a huge, huge victory for us. So very excited today to welcome Ben Sheppard here to my right and Jarace Walker. Thrilled to have them as Pacers. I want to introduce some people that came with them today. Jarace's mom, Marcia, his father, Horace, his sisters, Jaden, Sherelle, and Leticia, his friend Mookie, and his manager, Lauren, and his agent, Joe Branch, are here today, sitting in the front row. And with Ben, his mom, Susan, dad, David, and his sister, Sydney, and his agent, George Langbird's here today. I want to welcome them as well. And obviously we had 2 picks in the second round last night. Mojave King and Isaiah Wong are not here today, but I want to acknowledge them. We're excited about both of those guys adding to our program as well. So with that, I want to add over a little bit color on these two guys as players, why we were attracted to both of these guys. Like I mentioned before, starting with Jarace, I think our defense last year was an area that we want to really address and improve. Jarace is a player we feel can guard multiple players, multiple positions. Very defensive-minded. As we got to know him in the pre-draft process, I think that's where he views himself, as a defender first, which is a great trait for what our team needs. He played some point guard in high school. I mean, he looks like a linebacker, but he played some point guard in high school. Comes from a great program, University of Houston. Coach Sampson is a very hard-nosed, tough coach, so we know he's been coached very well, even if it's just one season there, and very, very attracted to what he can bring to our group. I think he's a guy that's only going to get better and better with time, and I think he's going to fit in very well with our group. So excited about Jarace for those reasons. Ben here is a guy that our scouting staff has been pounding the table on for 2 years, and he's kind of a little off the radar maybe to some people, but he's a player that's gotten better and better with each year at Belmont, and a guy that just moves without the ball, knows how to play without the ball, is a high-level shooter, and just both of these guys, the character and personality, are going to be great fits with our locker room. So really excited about these two guys. So with that, I'll turn it over to Coach Carlisle if you want to add anything to what I just said there.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. Chad did a great job of covering kind of an overview of what these guys bring from a skill standpoint. The word that I think really is a big part of who these two guys are, they just have an infectious spirit when they play. And interestingly, a couple of hours ago, I got a text message from Chad saying that Jarace would like to work out after the press conference today. Do we have somebody that can work him out? And so I think we can oblige you on that. Yeah, we'll make sure we get that done. But this is the kind of players that we're adding to this organization. Guys that love the game, that play the game with a pure heart, with an infectious spirit, as I mentioned. And that are versatile and just have fun playing the game of basketball. So with that, I just want to also point out our president, Kevin Pritchard's here, Ted Wu, Kelly Kroskoff, the job that Kevin does leading this organization is amazing. And the preparation for this draft, when you have the 7th pick, and then you start off with 26, 29, 32, and then 55, you see virtually every guy in the draft in this gym. and the level of detail that they went to come to where we are right now with sitting here with the two guys that we really wanted the most with those two picks is very gratifying, and we're very grateful. So with that, you guys want to say a word or two? Jarace, go ahead.
I can take on. Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say thank you. Just thank you for everybody for just showing up. I mean, none of you guys had to be here. The media, the staff, family traveling with me after a long night, long day. So I just want to appreciate y'all for just welcoming us with open arms.
Ben?
I'd say the same thing. I appreciate you all being here, my family, the organization, welcoming us with open arms, and happy to be here. So,
Yeah, and also I just want to point out, Coach Lloyd Pierce is here, Coach Mike Weiner, and Tom Hankins, our G League coach, along with a lot of other important people on our staff. So, Mike.
We'll open it up for questions. Just raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you.
Sure. That works. Chad, I do want to ask you, obviously, you guys moved back from 7 to 8 with a little interesting kind of twist there. I mean, just what happened there? Was somebody reaching out to you guys? How were you managed to get a couple picks out of Washington to just move back one
Sure.
spot?
I think, you get in the draft and certain teams start chasing certain players that they think, may not get to them where they're at. And we just tried to be opportunistic. And we had a couple teams chasing a player that ended up being picked that was not our target. And so we were able to move back a little bit and get the player we had targeted and pick up some additional assets along the way. So that's how that played out.
Ben, as a riser in this process, what did it mean to you to climb all the way up into the first round and be selected by this team?
yeah, it meant a lot. It's still surreal. Still hasn't really hit me yet, but throughout this whole process, I just tried to prove myself in every workout and whenever there was eyes on me. And yeah, I knew in my workout with Indiana that this is an organization that I love to play for. And yeah, so.
Jarace, Rick shared some stories over here. Coach Carlisle said that he really enjoyed having dinner with you during your pre-draft workout. What do you remember about that, and how, when you were here for the workout, did you start to feel like this was maybe a place you could call home?
Honestly, it was just the vibes, like just the conversations we was having, just walking around the facility, seeing new spots around the city, driving around, listening to jazz, just really just enjoying ourselves, just getting a feel for the city. So, I mean, like once I kind of did that, me and Coach were kicking it for a little bit. So just the connection we kind of built in just such a little time, I just felt like it was definitely the right city and right place for me.
Chad, hey, you mentioned you had your eye on Ben for a couple of years. I'm curious as to how you found him the first time. Were you in a gym to look at him, or were you in a gym for some other reason he stood out? Do you remember that?
Well, that was our scouts. We had several of our scouts targeted Ben. Our scouts are out seeing players year-round, and I think they'd first noticed him at the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament his freshman year and thought there might be something to keep tracking, and he just continued on a rise every year. You just saw progress and growth in his game, his confidence, his body. So that, we had several scouts, like I said, pounding the table, and that caused the rest of us to want to go watch him. And I think we were all on board with what we were seeing and where he could get to.
Ben, you mentioned you love the organization and your workout. What stuck out to you specifically about the Pacers organization?
Just the sense of family and the good energy that this organization brings. Right when I came through those doors, everyone opened with love and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here too.
Jarace, so much talk about defense and rebounding here. What have you learned about the group you're getting ready to join, and how do you think you can be a positive impact?
Yeah, I feel like we have a fast-paced team, get up and down the floor, high IQ guys, a lot of shot makers. Obviously got a great rim protector in Miles and Stick. So I feel like we have just a bunch of pieces, and I feel like I feel like just what I bring to the table is exactly what this team was missing. Just that extra defender, extra rebounder, extra playmaker, just shot creator, just somebody bring a little bit of everything to the table.
One other thing I'd like to mention about, I think really applies to both of these guys. They're both playmakers. You know, they play the game. They're versatile. They see the game. They see things that are going to happen before they happen. There's an element of feel with both of their games. And Jarace in particular, being a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", you know, we believe can be a guy that can do some unique playmaking at the 4 position. And so it's another reason, you know, we thought these two guys were special as we approached the draft.
Chad, was there a specific moment where you felt like you knew Jarace was the guy that you wanted in the top 10?
I think going into this season, you know, we watched Jarace, you know, as a high schooler, and we're really intrigued. Just as we looked at our roster moving forward, we knew the power forward position was something we've been trying to fill for a couple of years. So you're always looking at the next crop of candidates for that, and really started to see some things in the high school level that got us intrigued. And then watching him throughout the year at Houston, like I said, coming from a program where it's built on toughness and grit and guys playing the right way, which is how we kind of reflect how we want to play as well. And I think getting to know him through the draft process, interviewing him, you know, what he looks like and how he plays and his personality, just, I mean, they don't always match up because he looks like this big, rugged, tough guy on the court, which is what we want, but he's an outstanding young man, very personable, fun to be around, and I know he's going to fit with our team well. And I think the sealer was the workout for us. You know, we came in here, solo workout. We had Gennaro Pargo out there just battling with him in a one-on-one situation, and I'm sure Jarace wanted to punch him by the end of the workout, but you saw his competitive juices come out, and I think at that point we're like, this is our guy, and thrilled to get him.
Jarace, I kind of want to follow up on that and talk to you a little bit about that workout. It was your first pre-draft workout, so do you feel like when you walked in here, this was going to be the one, or is it something that you kind of held with you through that pre-draft process?
Honestly, I didn't know coming into it that it would be the one, but like after, I definitely got a good vibe and good feel. Cause I mean, I had a great time, had a good workout, but I mean, it was just like the vibes, just how I felt. Like I just felt real comfortable, kind of just felt like home. So it was kind of.
I think also if you were to talk to his representatives, if you looked at how his visits were structured, they felt that this was a very good place for him as well. And so, you know, we may have had a little bit of an advantage there because they just saw the opportunity for him. And so, you know, we're very pleased it worked out.
Ben, obviously you came into the draft process initially, you know, probably not that high on a lot of mock boards, obviously moved yourself up a lot in the combine and obviously in this one. I mean, just what did you kind of go in trying to get accomplished when you started this process and got to see a lot more teams, got to be around more teams through the combine process? What was kind of your goals, and what do you think you did so well in this whole process?
Yeah, throughout this whole process, I was just trying to be myself and be the player that I am and the person that I am, and don't change anything. And like places like the combine and workouts and stuff like that, just showing that I can compete and that I belong. And I think yesterday was a product of my hard work and everything that I've done led up to this point. And yeah.
Jarace, you know, officially crossed into a whole new life as an NBA player, and I wonder, as you're preparing for the draft, did you have any advisors or mentors that kind of help with the potential distractions and off-the-court stuff that you may have coming ahead for you?
Did you ask me a question on the Zoom yesterday?
Yes.
You did? Okay, my bad. But I would say definitely my family and Mookie here for sure, which is one of my trainers. Just always keep me grounded, always keep me humble, not thinking too far ahead, not worrying about where I was ending up, but just really just going to routines, working out, just being myself and just enjoying the moment. Because, I mean, it's a one-of-one opportunity, just be able to even travel and work out for different teams. So I was just really trying to take in the moment, just enjoy everything.
Hey, Ben, not trying to get you to out anybody, any teams, but as good as you are at a school like Belmont, which is a fine school, but still, I know how bigger schools operate. How many let you know that there's a place for you in the transfer portal if you wanted to enter it?
I'd say a few teams. That started junior year and decided to stay at Belmont. And obviously some programs were trying to get me to stay for a 5th year, but overall I felt like this was the time to go. So, yeah.
Chad, wanted to ask you about the other moves you guys made prior to the draft, sort of moving back, and getting the first rounder from Denver. What made those moves make sense, basically, and also what led you to pick Mojave and Isaiah? What'd you like about those guys?
Yeah, going into the draft, we knew we had 12 players under contract returning, so we had a roster situation we had to manage with 3 roster spots, obviously 5 picks. The math doesn't work on that one. So we're trying to maintain, ability to go get players in the future as well. So moving 2 picks this year, moving down the draft, but picking up a first-round pick next year gives us more tools to continue to build the team rather than having to draft more guys than we have spots for this year. So that was the rationale for picking up a future first next year. And we also knew going into the draft, we had all this action from teams with interest in our picks. So the more picks you have, the more potential you have to build your team. So that was another reason for adding a pick next year. So, Mojave is a guy that our scouts had targeted back in the NBA Academy. And he's got, he played with the G League Ignite this year. Very talented wing player who's, still developing. That we like his ability to shoot. I think Coach Carlisle would tell you the first thing he asks when we talk about a prospect is, can he shoot? And so Mojave is a guy that can do that, and he had a good workout for us as well. And Isaiah Wong is a guy who's a very accomplished player from a very strong program. University of Miami has won a lot of games. He's a very steady, solid guard that we liked throughout the process, throughout the last couple of years at Miami. He had a good workout for us, enjoyed his personality, and just felt like a good fit. So that's how we end up with those 2 guys as well.